Hello, welcome to this presentation. I'm Morris Dimba, and today I'm going to show you how you can create, set up, and install the holding down bolts using a holding down templates. So whatever you see on the screen here is a combination of the two. By that I mean I'm having my bolts already inserted inside the holding down templates. So this is how the holding down templates look, and this is how it's fabricated, right from Tekla structures all the way to workshop. So if you take a look here, I have my bolts, a center to center, one from this center to center, from center to center is 100, is 200, center to this center is 200, center to this, center of this to that is 200. So make sure this matches the holes at the bottom end of your steel column, or this matches the steel column base plate. So once that has been pulled out, but that has been taken into account by taking the allowance by using these pipes welded at the bottom end. Here you can see this. We've welded these holes at the bottom end of these steel angles, so that when the steel template has been pulled out, we'll have this allowance that was generated or created by the presence of these pipes, so that we have this allowance to play around with in case we miss out on some dimensions. So that can be corrected using the allowances created by the space created by this pipe. But the bolts cannot be pulled out. What will be pulled out is only the template. Let me just show you theoretically on Tekla structures before I take you to the actual fabrication of this particular template in the workshop. So let me just press Alt and select on the template and try to pull it out. But to pull it out, I'll just hide this component. So I'll right click and come to hide. So that will assume that it has been pulled out. So if you pull it out, the bolts will remain inside the concrete once the concrete has set. But normally you give it an hour, but don't give it more than that, because the template will come part of, will set up together with the template, and it will be so hard to pull it out, and you'll be forced to break it down. But that might come out to be so much expensive, and it's not worth using the template anymore. So once you pull out the template, you'll remain with the bolts in place, but the bolts will be able to you'll be able to play around within the diameter, the allowances created by the diameter of that pipe. So that gives you room to correct any mismatch in between the centers of the bolts and also the center of the column to the next column. So that is the importance of using that particular template, and that is the importance of using the holding down templates, and it simplifies that work. Now let me just right click once again and redraw. So we have our template back. So there's no need to, if you have maybe 100 or 200 column bases, you don't need to make 200, 100 holding down templates. You need to make around 10 or 20. You make a big number to speed up your installation of holding down template, but maybe 10 are enough. So let me just first of all hide this, then I take you to the practicality inside the workshop, or maybe an outcome of this right from Tekla structures, and this has been how it has been joined together by welding, by instructions that have been created using Tekla structures. Now let me just hide this for now. Let me just hide this because I don't want to see them. I'm using US environment, and US environment normally when you hide or refresh, these symbols, they normally don't disappear. And also the South Africa environment, they have similar behavior. Let me just right click and come to hide. So if I hide all these, I'll be able to hide out all those. So let me just select on that, press Control and select on that, right click and come to hide here. So we have our template in place, and this is ready for placement inside the column formwork. Then you just pour in the concrete and pull out these templates once the concrete has set. Now that is quite similar to this. Now this is our holding down templates already fabricated. So you can see the handle in place and the steel angles already joined together, taking into account the center to center of our bolts. Let me just hold it. This is the handle I'm holding here. So let me just turn it around and you see how the pipes have been joined together by help of welding to the bottom end of the holes created center to center relative to the holes measurements of the column base. So you see the quality of the welding done there. So this can be used on several columns and any column that matches the hole measurements. So this is how the holding down templates look like. So this is nice and it's more accurate to use this, and it allow very little room for error to be created. So this is how it looks, and it looks much better. Practically, what I'm holding on my hand here is actually the HD bolts, and you can see all the fabrication details at the bottom end of the HD bolts here, and the plates I was showing you in integral structures and the spot that restrict that plate from moving all the way up. Now let me just place it on top here and see you see the relationship between the template itself and the bolts. And this is the accurate way of installing the anchor bolts or the HD bolts. Now let's practically insert the holding down bolts inside the HD templates. Now, once you insert it, make sure the bolts are tight. You hold it. You make sure the bolts are held tight inside the template. So let's turn this round and put the next bolt and insert it right that way. Then you tighten the bolts at the far end with the washer together and make sure when doing the concreting, the bolts, the concrete are not interfering with the firmness of the bolts inserted inside the template. So let's just make sure that any dust is on the threads and not blocking the nuts from moving or screwing freely inside or through the bolts. So make sure it's done well the way we are doing it right here. So this is the appropriate way of installing your holding down bolts for your steel column. So once you finish, and we still have another one here, and let's just insert that inside the templates here. Let me just push it in, then we fix the nuts together. So make sure prior to fixing the nuts, you remove all the nuts that prevents the moving or the bolting through. Now, this is how it's done. Now, once we're done, we want to carry this to the column base already in place. So this is how it looks, and together with the handle, you can either hold it with the handle or we now place it right on top or inside the column base. So we have our levels already set in place, and with reference to that, we'll place this with reference to our levels marked along the column bases. So maybe you can push all this around. You cut all the hooks that blocks the entry, as long as you don't interfere with the levels set in place. So fix it, and the moment it sits down, then we start leveling it up and suspending the template, but don't try to fabricate or attach or fabricate any steel that will connect the template to any member of these steel bars. So make sure you pull it out, and if it doesn't fit, you cut it out. It doesn't come out, you cut it out by either grinder, or you can just use weld to cut it out. So once it fits, that will be well and good. So once you place it in, is when now you can suspend it with other members, suspend it up, as long as you don't weld this particular template. It's not part of this column base. It's just restraining these bolts into this position and to help the bolt retain the measurements as per the drawing. So we'll suspend it like this. So what we'll weld is these bars that are suspending it up. So we'll weld those bars to hold it up as per the level set across. Now, We'll weld that. So this is how it looks from the top and through the handle. And this is the best way to fix your holding down bolts. And after that, we make sure the template is held firm and it doesn't shake during the concreting. And we do that by welding. Now, after fixing the template firmly, but not welding the template whatsoever, don't weld the template to any part of this rebar or the rebar setting. Now, since we've poured in the concrete and allowed it to set after an hour, and now we want to pull the template out. But prior to that, make sure the top end of the concrete is well leveled. So we are leveling it manually by here. You can see all the pins we have and all the work waiting for us to install the anchor bolts. Now, it's time now to hit it slightly so that when we pull it out, it will be freely moving out without a lot of strength applied to it. Now let's try and pull it out by holding it by hand. Now prior to that, you remove all the bolts so that the template comes out freely. Now let's try and pull it out, and you see how it's coming out by some 1 and 2 and 3. It's slightly firm and strong, and it's coming out freely without any attachment to the column steel bar. So that's how it looks, and throw that away, and you try hold the bolts and just shake it out, and you see the allowance. You bring back the bolts in place and try. If we shake the bolts, we have that allowance that I was talking about in Tekla structures to play around when there's a mismatch. So if you're having some center to center missing out, you can shake it out, and that is the allowance we'll be playing around with. So that's how you can install your anchor bolts, and that is the best way to do it. You can see that if you shake it like that, you have the room to play with your own measurements. So put the bolts back, and this is the way, and this is the best way to install your anchor bolts or HD bolts. So you see the diameter that was created by the pipes I was talking about in Tekla structures. So this is how it's done. Now we are done with the concreting, and now we have our column and HD bolts in place. Now we want to remove the nuts. Now what you see there at the center, here is the leveling pad. The leveling pad helps in leveling the bottom end of our column base. Now we see what we've installed, and we are somehow complete with installation of anchor bolts, and we have to counter check the center to center distance prior to installing the steel column. So this is the amount of work we have at the moment, and we want to bring in the column itself, the steel column itself, and try and install it as we installed the others. Now we have everything prefabricated, and now we want just to do the installation right on site without any welding machine. This is just assembly, full assembly on site. And this depends a lot on the accuracy and the techniques you apply on site on how you install the HD bolts so that we avoid any error whatsoever. So we are bringing in the column itself, and we want to install it, and we want to fix it on top of our HD bolts. Let me just let it come up, and we'll fix it right now. You can see a number of the columns we've installed or has been installed. Now let's just pull it in and bring it close to our bolts. Just bring it close, and we've taken into account safety rules, and we are following that. Now this is the lines I was talking about. We place it in, and we have the room to play around. If one side doesn't fit, we just knock it slightly so that we don't interfere with the threads. So we try and fix it. So knock it slightly so that you don't interfere with the threads. So once the other side has found its way through, try to knock it slightly, and everything will find its way inside. And at the bottom end, we have the leveling plates right there to help us retain the level set all the way through our building. So it will get in, and with the help of the crane, this will be very, very easy work to do. So it will drop in all the way to the top of the the leveling plates. So we have our bolts already in place, and the column is already fitting well. The column, the base plate, the steel column base plate, yes, has been already fixed. So that is the technique to apply in fixing the HD bolts, and this is the best way. And imagine this is we are doing this without any kind of welding on site. It's just assembly, plain assembly. So this is what has been done. So the welding that has been done is only during the installation of the HD bolts. That's only the time the welding machine will appear on site.